This 1 million cups is very dear to me now after 6 months, 7 months doing it. It's providing a platform for the Chico community to share their ideas and start their own businesses. So if you know of anyone, please tell them to stop in here, check out one of the 1 million cups, see what it's like. It's not that overwhelming. You have a 6-minute pitch you can give to the audience, and then we'll have a 20-minute question and answer afterwards. So this is 1 million cups, and this is the place to test it out. It's put on by the Kaufman Foundation. It's a nonprofit. They're out of Kansas City. It's about 5 years old, I would say, and now there's 140 different chapters across the United States. We need to thank our sponsors, which are the Idea Fab Labs for the facility. Every week they provide the facility and the time and the space to let us be here, which is very nice. Thank you, Aaron. BCAC TV for their time and equipment and resources, putting us on the internet and YouTube. And of course, without the coffee for our 1 million cups of collected coffee is 6 Degrees Coffee. Thank you guys very much. Very much appreciated. And then all the different organizers that have helped out. So thank you guys for all your time. If you'd like to be an organizer as well, please stop in and talk to us because we need support from the community. If you have a special talent or if you'd like to help mentor someone doing business, please step on up and we'll have you part of our community. Be very helpful. And with that, today our presenter is Aaron Banwell with IFL Products. And today he's going to show us biscuits. Aaron, it's all you.
Thank you very much. My name is Aaron Banwell, and I'm here to talk today about my product, Discets. It's a wooden construction toy, and you will find some pieces in front of you on the table there for your tinkering pleasure. Let me go ahead and get started here. So, this product came about originally, I'm an artist, and I was wanting to create a building block system that I could use as a foundation for some sculptural artworks. I was commissioned to build a large scale installation at Burning Man in 2012, and so I had a laser cutter and I thought I would cut out some shapes and come up with kind of a modular building block system, and so this is what I came up with. It was made with the laser cutter, which is what I wanted to use. It has 8 points of connection, and it's modular. This is one of the artworks that I built based off this system. So you can see what I was doing is once I came up with some ways that they fit together, I then changed the design of the open slots into other shapes, so that it was just really an interlocking system, and I kind of overlay whatever kind of shapes over top of that I wanted to. So I made lots and lots of these things, and would just sort of play with them, and people came over, I would say, hey, here, see what you can do with these. And people seemed to really enjoy them. Next thing, people wanted to buy them. I actually started, originally made these before I opened Idea Fab Labs, but shortly after opening Idea Fab Labs, every time we had an event, we put them out, people loved them. Then we started doing field trips, and the students who came in really loved them, and people started asking to buy them. There's a picture of some kids who really loved them. So I finally decided to get serious. Actually, before I go there, MONCA, the Museum of Northern California Art, approached me. They were still in the fundraising phase. We're not into their building yet. And they said, hey, we'd love to buy these and sell them as a fundraiser. And we can feature them at our booth at events. So I sold a few hundred sets to them. I still had no name, no branding. And they sold a lot of those as a fundraiser for opening the museum. So about 6 months ago, I connected with a graphic designer, and we started working on branding. Came up with this name, Discets. Actually did a little crowd sourcing there. I had people suggest names. on Facebook and then vote on names. And was it your name? Was it yours, Tim? I think Tim came up with this name. You got the winning votes on my Facebook poll. So we went with Discets. There's the logo. And then next we came up with the packaging. And as you can see, I'm selling them here in a tube of 50 pieces. So we have this nice packaging that wraps around. There's some glamour shots of the packaging. So, who am I going to sell these things to? Educational institutions, I think, is probably going to be I'm hoping will be our biggest market. We also sell augmented reality sandboxes, and I found that some of the schools, especially, they've come back after purchasing a sandbox and said, "Hey, well, what else do you guys have for our makerspace?" And you know, a lot of them have a makerspace in the library or a special classroom. So, just sold my first set of 30 of these to a school in the Monterey Peninsula. So I'm seeing that as being probably a good outlet for sales, is to customers, either as an upsell when they're buying a sandbox or as a return customer. Right now we're targeting children's museums with the sandboxes, and then we're going to be also offering them the Discets. Selling them on individual packets. Families tend to buy them when we sell them here at the lab. Children 3 to 17 and also adults alike all seem to enjoy them. The value proposition, people like that it's American made. They like that it's made of wood. I know wooden toys are having a resurgence. There's so many plastic toys out there. People really value something that's made of wood. It feels a little more real, authentic. This is a toy that encourages creative thinking, right? There's no directions, but everyone seems to know what to do with it, and everyone does something a little different. I've seen people build hats, and kids are building swords, all kinds of stuff. Oh, you just discovered the reinventing the wheel. It's fun. People really enjoy playing with these. It also can be a creative outlet, something someone can have at their desk at work, and you know, take a quick break and make something fun. Marketing channels. We've just set up a sales page on the Idea Fab Labs products website, so they're actually for sale there now, just as of last week. Hoping to sell to existing customers of Idea Fab Labs science exhibits. I have not started this yet, but I'd like to look into getting them into some retail stores. Probably just start around town, see what happens. Although I'm just not really just not familiar yet with what that might look like. So I don't know, maybe I'll contact some kind of distributors or see what the possibilities are there. That's something I'm looking forward to in the future. I've also considered doing booths at events, because when you put these out on a table at an event, people really gravitate towards them. And that seems like that could be a good way to sell. You know, the kids all come in there and playing with them, and hopefully everyone walks away with two of them. What's next? I'd like to get a website set up just for the Discets. I'd like to develop an event booth and start trying that out. Contact some retail. And some, Matt just mentioned to me Amazon sales. That's something I probably will look into. So my ask is help me get the word out about my product. And I'll add to that, any advice on this? I've never marketed a toy before. And so a lot of this is new to me, so I'm looking for any advice anyone has. Thank you very much.
I have always been fascinated by wooden or paper toys, like a working paper clock that Asimov wrote an introduction to, or the Tinker Toy computer. I noticed on one of your previous slides you had it looked like maybe a shaft or a pole or some sort of a rod in there where things might. Yeah, there. Okay, that's it.
No, there's no rod.
Upper right. Oh, that's just the
edge on
view. Okay. So I don't know if that would make, if you could have it where it could move or have some sort of articulation or something maybe.
Yeah, so I've thought if these take off that I could make a lot of other styles of pieces that could go with it. And I experimented with that a little bit. I actually made a piece that looked just the same as this, but the slots were offset from the center. And what I found is it was really easy to build spirals with that. So I'm sure by combining two different types of pieces, and there's probably other configurations that could be created, that could really open up a lot more possibilities as well. So maybe I was thinking maybe like a rod with notches at each end. Yes?
Aaron, are you making these here at the lab, or where do you make them?
Yep, I'm making here at the lab right now.
What's your plan for scaling up in case you get a large order or potential for, say, a toy company wanting maybe 5,000 units?
Yeah, so I could produce a lot of units here, but if it really took off, I figure we could probably get them manufactured in China at a reasonable rate. So that would be my expansion plan, would be to have someone else manufacture them.
How long does it take to make one of these with a laser as opposed to a mold?
Well, I don't know how long it takes for a mold. I guess it depends on what kind of plastic you're casting. But one of those takes maybe a little under a minute to cut on a laser. And if it was a higher powered laser, it could be a lot faster than that. Yes?
What's your cost of goods?
The material is very cheap. It's a couple of cents per disc. Mm-hmm. And then the rest is just maintaining the machine.
Okay. And then the packaging.
Yeah, right. Packaging is like 20 cents for a tube.
Right.
Right now, these are all just mock-ups of the labels that I printed myself.
Okay.
So I have not actually looked into that yet, but I know they'll be very cheap if we buy them in thousands.
And then what is the proposed retail MSRP?
So I've been selling them. I've sold them at 20 and I've sold them at 15.
Okay.
And
is it like $14.99 and $19.99?
Sure,
okay.
Sure.
Sure.
Could be.
Okay.
I was thinking about doing like some doing a little research and maybe like setting up a booth and asking people what they thought they would pay for it. Mm-hmm. Just try and get an idea. See if 20 is too much. I'm not sure that it is. I never really had anyone complain that it was too much at 20.
No, it's not. Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
Yes.
First off, how many units total have you moved, roughly? Around 1,000?
No, under 1,000. I'd say between 500 and 600 sets.
Okay, that's roughly in the right scale. Would you say that in terms of scaling this, moving forward, that you're having more trouble with marketing and sales or with production? Yeah,
no, production's easy. It's the marketing and sales. And I haven't put a ton of time into it. It's largely happened on its own, and sort of like I've been like playing catch up with the branding, and the packaging. I was just selling them in blank white tubes for like the last year with no name on it, and so I do believe that. I think I need to come up with a good marketing strategy, which is something I'm going to need help with from someone who's got experience with that. But I believe that some marketing would definitely do good.
I have more if it's okay. Have you checked into getting partnerships? I mean, you're also running this really awesome establishment, and so I know your time is going to be somewhat limited. But have you explored developing a marketing partnership with somebody?
I have not.
Or an agency? Okay.
But I would definitely be interested in that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
Some suggestions. Of course, Thursday Night Market is a way for you to expose your product to families.
Yeah.
And kids can come and fool around with it. So take video and get photo releases. And perhaps a local manufacturer would be Work Training Center's woodshop.
Oh, no, these are made with a laser cutter. I don't believe they have one there.
No. Don't know if they do.
So that might. Thank you for the advice. Yes.
This kind of all started, my daughter does swim lessons, and she's 21. It occurred to her that kids that need swim lessons can't afford swim lessons. And that, when I look at this, I think of all the talent in this town and other towns that can benefit from what you have here. I mean, even kids that in traditional schools may not, that's not necessarily how their brains work. Their brains thrive in places like this, and they're brilliant, and they just kind of need to be redirected. So as I was sitting here, I thought, you know how people sell candy bars so they can go to camps?
Yeah.
What if kids, and I don't know, what if kids sold these in order to get memberships here? Because you also want to, I don't know what your capacity here at Idea Fab Labs as far as memberships, but what if, sales wouldn't be terrific, but it also would get more people in here, and it's almost philanthropic. It's also,
Right, it would be a PR thing. Yeah, we're not anywhere near capacity for membership. So we're definitely always looking to get the word out and get more members in.
And it sells like this is the magic that happens in places like this. And if kids or even adults sell these in order to get memberships, in order to feed their talent here and learn more and more, and then they just bring it out into the community and could create so much more. It's just like this perpetual perpetuation of talent. And I'm really serious about kids in school and traditional schools, and how all the beautiful stuff that gets created and all that you teach here can really be enhanced by memberships that they can get while selling these.
Awesome, great idea, thanks. Yes.
Me? I'm curious, this kind of gets at a question that was asked earlier about, I'm not sure it was necessarily introducing motors, but moving parts. And that if you were to have a hole in the center and allow the pieces, when fit together, that they don't close the hole, that you could have connectivity with an axle or a rod in some way that allows you to make constellations and motors and wheels and
cool, I like it.
Just a suggestion.
Be a good accession pack.
Yeah, where you have little, I don't know if they be metal rods, maybe wood.
Yeah. Call it the kinetic.
Something as simple as a
kinetic pack. There you go.
Yes.
Coloring one?
I actually was, for Monka, we actually screen printed on them. And what we did is we screen printed onto a sheet before we cut it. Like a wallpaper that just said Monka, 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 Monka. So that when it got cut out, they all said Monka on them. I thought it's an extra step, and I also feel like people really like the wood. So we went for coloring the package instead.
Yeah.
And we have the package, the label is like rainbow colors.
Right, that way kids can do what they want with them.
Right.
Too.
Yeah, because kids
see,
can paint them.
Yeah, I can totally see. Like, what were you saying, Elizabeth? Go crazy with Sharpies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're actually doing there's a bunch of flyers I put out here with a face on it, Portrait Revolution.
Yeah.
So we're actually doing a gallery exhibition here, and also at the Chico Art Center. That's a collaboration between the Chico Art Center and Idea Fab Labs, and that's what that show is for. And it's a juried show, but as part, we're trying to connect the two communities of the Chico Art Center and Idea Fab Labs, and we're only like about a block from each other. So one of the things we're doing is both places are going to be open, and the artwork is going to be in both places. And there's going to be a reception over there, and we're making 4-inch versions of the diskettes. So people are going to pick up a disket over there, and there's going to be a station with Sharpies where people can color them. And then they're going to bring them over here, and everyone's going to collectively make a big sculpture out of it. So kind of similar idea. Yeah, Matt.
I love these. I definitely want to buy some because my daughters would love this, and they love painting them. We actually, and this made me think. One of the things we do every now and then is Harbor Freight sells these little kind of like CNC cut like 3D wooden puzzles. You get like 2 sheets of birch, and you like punch out all the pieces to make like little dinosaurs and whatever. It's great. But then it made me think and they're like, those sheets, they're like $2 for like each one of those things. And I was curious is, once these get popular, because I feel like they will, because they're really cool, is what's going to stop like other people who maybe have like a ton more money or a massive, market already to be like, look, we're making them too, and just like do whatever they want. Is there some sort of kind of, I don't know, you get a patent or what you could do to kind of, prevent some of that? Or even like a business savvy kid, like Elizabeth was talking about, who's coming in and selling them and then realizes, well, I have a laser cutter, I'll just make my own business and undercut him. I don't know. I was just curious if there's a strategy there.
I don't really have much of a strategy except for just to say that I would rely on name brand recognition. And with our main channel ideally being through educational institutions we've already done business with, that would be sort of my tactic to avoid that happening. I think it's such a simple shape. Could you get a patent on it? Maybe. And maybe that's something I should look into, whether or not I should get a patent on it. I know, and I didn't notice when I made it, but I have seen other things that are very similar to this since, made of plastic. So maybe someone is already doing it.
You could also look at the name that you picked up on the UPTSO. Is that right? UPTSO? Sorry. Patent. The trademark office.
Okay.
And
so these really remind me of Legos, and Legos have their name on them.
right.
Have you thought about like really quickly like laser in the name?
Yeah, could definitely do that.
Okay. They'd be like, oh wow, this is legit because it shows right here.
Right. Any other questions?
When I was a kid, Denny's, the restaurant, had a plastic version very similar to this, but different shapes and stuff. So I was wondering if you ever thought about doing like a partnership with something. They were for when kids come, something to do at the table.
Right.
Partnering with any kind of the restaurants or something where kids are often a captive audience kind of thing. To give them something to do.
That's a great idea.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great idea. Thanks.
And this is such a small town, you could take it to a couple of restaurants or owners that you might know, or even coffee shops, right? And test out that they, have the opportunity to maybe stand in the back and watch how kids use it and that kind of stuff. They would.
Great idea. Yeah.
I like the idea of branding each individual one. If you could figure out a quick way to slap that on there, because people are gonna probably lose a lot of these. So if somebody finds one and they have your logo on there and it says Discus, and they can Google it and it pops up, that might be a huge, alternate way of marketing your product, because people see something that, whoa, what's that? And it's got your brand on it, oh, this random thing I found, I don't know what it is.
Because then you can just drive around chucking them out in the car. You're like, what is this?
Make a little gun and shoot them.
That would be fun, wrap it out with this guy, just a suggestion, I understand that you're already vendorized with a number of, educational institutions.
Yeah.
Because of that, you're already set to sell these also.
Right.
A lot of these, like charter schools will have a discretionary budget for the families. Mm-hmm. And if you're vendorized, those families can then buy your product as a science tool.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
And essentially the school pays for it. So, the checks aren't going to bounce. So that might be, you might just need to make a phone call to do that.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We're a vendor for actual curriculum, but when I was filling out all those forms to become a vendor, one of the options if you're just selling products, so it would not be hard for us to have that on there.
Yeah.
Great idea, thank you.
On a completely separate vertical note, I think because these lend themselves well for adults to doodle with them as well. Doodle's not the right word, but you get the idea. I could see these being private labeled for, events, corporate events, that kind of stuff.
Great idea.
When I think about all the stuff that came in and then separately, when I think about all the stuff that came in my goodie bag at the California Nut Festival, Patrick Ranch, this is something else that kids could be playing with while they're there, because there's tons of kids with those kind of things too.
Nice.
So,
Do
anyway,
you know, is there like do you have something in mind, like is there like how would I get into that market?
you know, I don't know. You
Probably
can-
trade shows.
Yeah, probably trade shows or
Yeah.
through the catalogs where people order hats and cups and you know, stuff with their company logo on it, that kind of stuff.
What are those things that, the fidget thingies?
Fidget spinners.
Oh my God.
I have no idea what they are, but I've heard of them.
Those have just exploded. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
And you can't do anything with them. Here you can build and construct and deconstruct. Those have gone crazy. I don't particularly get it.
Well, we should make one that has a bulb, a bearing in the middle.
Yeah, you're talking about spinners,
Build your own
the little,
The fidget spinner thingies.
yeah,
I've not seen them, but I've heard of them.
Oh my God, they're everywhere.
they're on every other counter.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, they're in
store.
auto stores, they're in supermarkets, they're everywhere.
No one has one.
Any other questions?
You haven't mentioned catalog sales. Are there any catalog companies you've identified?
I have not, having looked into it. Do you have any suggestions?
There's a couple. One is Signals. I think it's still tied in with it's a public radio, kind of educational and
Nice.
educational toy type company. And Bits and Pieces or Worldwide Games.
Nice.
A couple other catalogs.
Very cool.
The only other place this occurs to me is like when I go to SF MoMA and I go to the gift shop.
Yeah.
These are things that would, you know.
So actually, I didn't mention this, but one of my ideas, so we just sold our first pack of these just to a existing customer from the Sandboxes, and it was a school district. But one of my ideas was for the children's museums, because that's who we're targeting with our direct marketing for the augmented reality sandbox, is all the children's museums in the United States.
Right.
And what I envisioned was essentially an exhibit, hands-on science exhibit that is a table with a ton of these in it, kind of similar to this. But I imagined a piece in the center that you could attach them to, so that it would kind of be like this big thing people were building up all the time.
Right.
And then my idea is that then the gift shop can sell the tubes, so that these children's museum and other hands-on science museums, it could be a revenue stream for them as well, where they can have an exhibit where everyone's sitting there playing with it, and then in the gift shop they actually sell them as well.
That's a good idea.
The Made in Chico store in town does consignment sales, so that might be a good place where you can just have them hold, and then if they sell a bunch, then you make some. If they don't, you just take it back.
I was definitely planning on talking to them.
It's a great place also for him to look at how he could play with different store point of sale presentation, right? Point of purchase.
Yeah, I think ideally a store would have a display out where people can get hands-on.
I got a comment, a couple. So I'm thinking that tower there, that as a non-traditional student, if I get one of those, I pull it up, I get it out, I pull out a piece of paper that tells me how to build that.
Yeah.
And possibly, once you do it, you may be able to like put a red dot, like go through there and put the red dot or green dot, and then it hooks together with the dot to the dot or whatever, with the just there, and then the red could be another different design, and you just have different designs that kids can follow. And
you probably wouldn't really need red dots because they're all uniform. But I was thinking something similar to Legos, like what you're saying, where there's essentially a diagram or a drawing of here's the first layer, and then the next layer you go here, here.
Yeah.
And then it could be, here's how you build a head, here's how you build a dinosaur.
Exactly.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Building out.
Cool, thank you very much.
20 minutes. You guys had awesome questions. All right, Aaron, thank you very much for sharing your disc kits with everybody. All right, we're going to thank one more time all our sponsors, Idea Fab Labs for the facility, BC ACTV for their time and their services. Thank you, because you can now watch this on YouTube in a couple of days. And 6 Degrees Coffee for getting me all wound up. Thank you guys very much. Thank you all the organizers, and if you haven't liked us on Facebook, please find us there. If you'd like to present, check out 1 Million Cups Chico. You can sign up, and if you have any guests you'd like to bring next time, please bring them and share. And thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it. We'll see you guys next week.